if you've been following me for a while, you know that like my dad was Private Joker. Like he was the Duke in Vietnam.
You, John Wayne? Is this me?
If you don't know what John Wayne talks like, that's John Wayne. He said his name.
Well, take some advice, Pilgrim.
I'll show you a couple times where like Joker talks like that.
Listen up, Pilgrim. A day without blood is like a day without sunshine.
One more time.
Well, Pilgrim, only after you eat the peanuts out of my shit.
So I got shown like one baseball game, and it's this one, and like I don't know how I ended up clicking on it. And there's this kid in it, Michael Scozzarelli. He's 4'7", like he's a baseball expert. That's like the story. Like this kid's a baseball expert. Like he knows everything about baseball, but he's like super tiny. Well, it turns out he's in another game. Look at this player next to him. Like that guy like looks like he like actually like has mass to him. That kid is like freaking tiny. So here's him running off the field. Like there's another kid that's the same size, but look at this other guy. Like he's big. Like so it was actually pretty fun watching me because like I mean all I remember like is that like the Pirates was my first team. Like I don't remember that I was good at baseball back then. Like I know I got hit in the face with a baseball. Like we were playing catch, and like I got hit in the face, and my face was all messed up. Because I mean I didn't know I was playing with older kids. Like my dad drove like a white T-top Corvette. They show the kid's dad in the game. Could the guy they showed in the game end up being like Johnny Bench? Like that guy looks a lot more like Johnny Bench than my dad did. So why am I talking about this again? Because like that kid was not 12 years old. That kid was like probably like 6 years old. You'll never believe that they're throwing a freaking 6-year-old in the Little League World Series. The reason I say that is because like I have like no memories of it. Like I mean I do have memories back then. Like I don't know like when your memories start like getting like very easy to comprehend. But like what I do remember is like the Pirates was like before the Cubs, before like every other team I played for. And somehow like that's when I'm playing in the Little League World Series. Like I didn't have very much control over my like pitching back then. Like eventually like I became dominant. Like I was Greg Maddux. Like you will never get a good pitch from me ever. So the kid's favorite book is The History of Cooperstown. Yeah, a 12-year-old's favorite book is The History of Cooperstown. Apparently, the record for most stolen bases would be probably Ricky Henderson, but Kenny Lofton was pretty good at stealing bases. Most home runs total would be Hank Aaron, but I'm pretty sure like Barry Bonds ended up breaking that record. Like now Barry Bonds has the record for most home runs, and Mark McGwire had it, and Sammy Sosa had it. But before it was Roger Maris, and before Roger Maris, it was Babe Ruth. But Babe Ruth had 60, so like I mean, clearly that was a long time ago. The most home runs in a World Series game would be what's his name? You know, black guy. Like probably best batting average like would be either Ted Williams, Ty Cobb's up there, Tony Gwynn was up there, but I'm pretty sure it would be like Ted Williams, right? Most consistent games played would be like Lou Gehrig, but like I mean, but until Orioles. Can't remember the Orioles player's name. It's been a long time since I followed baseball at all. So the most strikeouts in a game, I think it might be Kerry Wood, who like he threw 20 strikeouts like while I was still alive, or while I was alive. The most saves would be probably the guy from New York, right? But that was later too. Mariano Rivera, maybe. Reggie Jackson would be who has the home runs in a World Series record probably. Pete Rose might have the record for the best batting average. Pete Rose was up there because like name the players on the Big Red Machine: Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan. I don't think I can name very many of them. I mean, I can name like Gold Glove people like Ozzie Smith, right? Like he's won a Gold Glove. Pudge Rodriguez has won Gold Gloves. I think that was a bad direction to go because Gold Gloves winners are hard to name. Yeah. All I'm saying is like I'm kind of I was that kid. Like you don't even know. Like when I was a little kid, it was like my pride was that like I knew everything about baseball. Like I know every baseball statistic. Like I know every play. Like I know where you need to cover. Like I'm a baseball expert. Like my dad had like a baseball book. And then later, like I played on like harder teams. Like I don't remember that team being hard. Like I remember the next team was easy, next team was easy, next team was easy, and then it got hard. Like when I started playing for the Royals in California, I thought like that team, like they were big. Like I batted like seventh on that team. Like cause like I wasn't that good. And that's it. Yeah, that's me as a kid. It's pretty fun watching me. Like I get proud of myself. Like I can't believe I threw so well. Like I changed my pitching style. Like and I think that like they didn't want me to look the same. And then they also wanted me to have like I think my dad like what happened is my dad brought in this pitcher that played for the Marlins. I think. And he was coming to play at Dodger Stadium. So we went and watched him play at Dodger Stadium. But when he was there, like he coached me in pitching, and I changed the way I pitched. And after I changed the way I pitched, like I was so dominant because I was so like under control. Like I was like I'd strike out so many people and or I'd get them to ground out. Like that's always been my philosophy is like don't let them make good contact. So have I ever been to Massachusetts? Like no. Like I've never been to the East Coast. Well, I've been to the East Coast. Like I've been to Maine, like or not to Maine. I've been to like Maryland and to Washington D.C. But like when I like that was like as an adult, like I went on a business trip for my dad's company, Third Millennium Classrooms, which does online alcohol and drug education. But back then I like hadn't like I had never even gone to Cooperstown. Like my dream was to go to Cooperstown. Like there's going to be a tournament there. That's our dream. Like okay, there's going to be a tournament. Like but we never go to the tournament. So like that kid is so freaking young. Like you develop memories like. Your first memory is 3 to 5, and like, but clearly that's not my first memory is like playing for the Pirates. I don't have any memory of like being in the Little League World Series at all. Like my memory of the other game is like there was a long game where I sat in the dugout, like that long. It was like a very long game. Like if you ask me about that kid, he wasn't very good at baseball back then. Like he didn't have very much like he couldn't control his pitches, and he wasn't a very good hitter. I mean, he was too young.